Moko ki raro, mana wapu ki ronga, tahura ki uta, ko taranaki maunga ki whanganui pū, o ngā iwi katoa o taranaki whānui. Tōku raukura e tete nei te whenua e. E te iti, e te rahi, e te katoa, tēnā koutou, e raro mai. I haven't finished yet. Kei ngā manuhiri, kei ngā pūkōrero, o tēnei hui, tēnā anō katoa. O tērā te whakamenenga, e hui hui mai nei, tēnei koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Now that's the start of our journey. As the Tsp Community Trust, we've been around for a while, like all the other community trusts. Traditionally, we've been the stock standard mailbox funder. So you'd send us in an application, we'd have a look, we'd make a call and give you some funding if you were lucky. We didn't engage with applicants, we didn't have a face in the community, we were just there waiting to receive and passively give out funds. We developed a strategy in 2009, but we were still pretty much a reactive funder. In 2014, we started to explore who we are. We started to think about, we don't want to be a passive funder, we actually want to be somebody who's engaged with our community, who's aware of what's going on and can assist them in a much more proactive way. We wanted to be more collaborative and more innovative. We commissioned some research which resulted in a report, A Child-Centred Profile of Taranaki Children and its Services. We've got a lot more pūtea than we used to have when we first started out almost 30 years ago, so we need to start tackling some of the harder issues. We recognise that we can't do this on our own, we have to work with our communities and with other funders if we're really going to make a difference, and recognise that actually the strength lies within our communities. They're the people that really know what will work. We wanted to assure that there was equity when we distributed our funds, and we shared the research that we'd carried out with other people within the sector, and so here is really where our journey started to begin. Now, I don't expect you to be able to read all of that because it's quite small, but by 2016 we developed a new vision and a set of core values for our organisation. We were ready to announce to the community that we wanted to be a champion of positive opportunities and an agent of beneficial change with a focus on child and youth wellbeing in Taranaki. One thing I'd say is don't underestimate the value of developing some core values for your organisation. They've been really key to the way that we actually function and the way that we work now. They underpin what we do, they're part of us being an effective organisation, and they really ground you and give you something to come back to. I think that they're really important for an organisation and they've been great for us. So we wanted to be more than just the passive funder. In fact, we wanted to be known as more than just money. We've got other skills within our organisation. We've got some really great staff that can actually go out and work with organisations as well. So it's not just about writing out a cheque. There's a lot more to it than that. We started providing facilitation grants and really ramped up the capacity building work that we do within our communities to help organisations achieve all that they could. And we also started to explore our role as an influencer as well within the community. From there, now this one's even harder to read. From there, once we'd agreed our strategic overview, we decided it's time to develop that a bit further. So we looked at the three key areas that we have, and community investment and funding. We started to really develop that up. Looked at our theory of philanthropy and theory of change. Now they're great words if you're in a philanthropic organisation, you know what they mean, but they're sort of not really something for public consumption. So we changed that around a bit and talked about how we approach our work and why and how we seek to be to make beneficial change within our community. And again, I think the core values are really important here, as how we function as an organisation and how we're going to engage with our communities. We also started to develop our asset investment arm, but that's another whole story for another day. At the same time, we're on a cultural journey as an organisation. The Trust started to agree and worked on, and we've now got a statement which is, if it works for Māori, it works for everyone. So we're trying to look at things that have a kaupapa Māori focus around them. We also have a working in partnership with Māori strategy, which is very new, and we're working on it. We've still got a long way to go, but yeah, that's in there now as well. From there, we developed our community funding framework, which is based on our magnificent maunga in Taranaki. So the higher you go up within the maunga, the more interaction you will have with trust staff and trustees, the stronger the alignment that you have to have around what our core vision is and our focus on child and youth wellbeing. So we've basically got the 4 key areas of funding. We recognise community funding, that's still the stock standard stuff that we've been doing for years. Trustees still want to do that. They think it's pretty important to the fabric of our community and how people relate to each other. So we'll still do a degree of the mailbox funding. Then we've started working more in strategic philanthropy, and that's where we're looking. There'll be a small number of those that we're working with, and that's having a truly strategic relationship and working alongside organisations and giving a real wraparound support. So it's not just about handing over a cheque, it's actually about working with them in the journey of where they're going. Innovative philanthropy, we're just dipping our toe in there really, to be honest. We've got one project which is called Te Rau Matu Matu, and that's a collaborative around design thinking that we've got with 3 of the iwi from Taranaki and a healthcare provider, Tui Ora, in Taranaki. So we've trained up a cohort of people to look at the design thinking techniques, and we're just about to embark on, in the next few months, going out and working in a place-based way with a community around what would be, well, we don't know what it will be actually. That's the whole idea of design thinking. It'll be what comes out of it from the community really, just seeing where they want to go and what they'd like to do. For us as a trust, we'll be looking at something that has a focus on child and youth wellbeing, particularly in the early years is where we'd really like to focus with a whānau context. And then right at the peak we have impact investing, and we're hoping that we'll be there by 2019 when we're looking to implement that. I mean, if something fantastic came along and we could actually do some social investing, then we would do it. But at this stage, we're thinking that'll be more like 2019. We developed a whole lot of other tools that support this around how you do assessment, and there's a whole lot that sits behind that. I'll just show you a video, I hope, if it works, that's in an organisation that we've been working with now for probably about 6 years, and this would be one that we would call one of our strategic relationships. It's Whakatiparanga Rimaro. It's working towards having more Māori within the healthcare sector, and what they do is they work with schools and youth in schools, try and convince them that science is exciting and that there's a reason to do it and what careers it can lead you to, and then they follow them through from school to tertiary education, cadetships and placement, which I think is sort of what Terry Ann was talking about, that you need to follow people on a journey. They need support the whole way through, and we actually think that this is one that we've been supporting now for some time that's done really well. And Tania, who speaks on the video, just gives you an idea of the sort of wraparound support that we give, that we think is really important for organisations to be able to achieve.
So I guess the Tsp Community Trust are the hub of what happens in community. We've been around now for 5.5 years, and the Trust, yes, although it's financially supported us, when we were establishing the Trust, they were more than just financial support. Maria kind of brought us all together to form the Trust. We were kind of had ideas at each individual department, so we're made up of Ministry of Social Development, Taranaki District Health Board, and the 8 iwi of Taranaki. I had Leighton and Maria in the same room, and I was bouncing off ideas about what we were going to do going into 2016, into this year. And so I come out of there feeling revived. There was no money attached to that. It wasn't a funding application. That was just basically saying, this is the direction I'm heading, and what do you think in regards to what else is happening in the community? The other things that the Trust have done more recently, I've got an evaluation coming up of our Trust being around for 5 years, so we need to evaluate it. We're a small Trust, there's me and 3 other staff members, so to have that at a phone call away was kind of really useful for us to be able to pick up the phone and say, are you able to help us develop what an evaluation might look like for our Trust? And not only did Dana help us with what it might look like, as she provided us with models. For us, I think if the funding went, to be honest, if we no longer got funded, this is probably one of the first places I would still call anyway, because some of the team members have a skill set that the trust kind of has built on, like project planning and stuff. I've always rung here and said, what do we do? I've rung Maria and said, what do you think about these sorts of things? For me, I've had governance training, I've had financial training, which has been great, supported by the trust. But every time I come here, it's a huge networking kind of place too. So we all might be here for financial training, but we all bounce off ideas about our actual projects. We had iwi general managers in here. You know, we had philanthropic organisations, we had business organisations all sitting around the same room, wanting to strive for the same outcome.
So that just gives you a bit of an idea of the sort of work that we're aiming to do with community organisations, not just providing the funding for the programs, but actually looking to see what else they need to support them as well. And I guess we're still on a journey. We've been going for a little while. This is a poem that we've got that all our brand and our core values is based on, and it's about a journey from the Maunga down to the sea, and we think that this is a journey that we want to go on with our communities. I think the key thing is that we don't know the best way, and we're learning as we go, and we're open to that. There'll be some mistakes that'll be made along the way, and we need to be prepared to have a look at things and refigure and think about where we're going and how we're going to work it, but being led by our communities. And I think the challenge to most funders is the last line of our poem, which is, be brave, you never know until you try. Kia ora.